Bring them on down. Who are we introducing?
I would like to bring down Marina Viscoon, who's the co-producer. Here she is. And Deb Love, who's our executive producer. And Bob McFalls, who's our editor.
So which came first, this or Glee? Were you inspired by Glee at all, the show?
No, I had never seen Glee.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I did see a performance that Mr. Halls did.
Yes.
And that's, what inspired me. I was just very curious to know how he was able to accomplish such artistry in the context.
Did you have a child going through the school, or how did you get to know Mr. Halls?
First, I want to say I hope everyone here has a chance to say something, because this is a collaborative process, and just like with the choir, it takes a whole community to make a film, and I just want to express my appreciation to this community. No, I just think it's really important you get acknowledged, because it's not just me, you guys did it too. Okay, so, the very first hit I got was my daughters, I have two daughters who did go to Santa Monica High School, but prior to that, when they were in middle school, I had heard about Mr. Halls, but I'd never seen him. And I had been volunteering because I really do believe in the arts and art education and bring arts into the school. And so I'd been volunteering at the middle school, but for some reason I had to go to the high school. And it was early in the morning, and it was really, really foggy and misty, and I was on the high school campus. I'd never been there before, and I was going towards the administration office, and suddenly I saw this man and a small, petite woman next to him, and he was wearing this overcoat, and he was walking towards me. It was Mr. Halls, and I thought, I feel like I'm watching a movie. And that was sort of a premonition almost, because it wasn't until several years later when I was sitting in a performance. Once again, my daughters were not in the choir at that time, and I was watching the students sing, and there was something about seeing these very contemporary teenagers singing this Gregorian chants with such passion and commitment. And it just moved me so, and I really, wanted to know where that came from.
I worked in Los Angeles radio at KUSC in Los Angeles for 6 years. I was the morning classical DJ out there.
Wow.
And I spoke in front of the Los Angeles school board talking about the importance of music education. So I hear you, I understand, and I appreciate. I love the fact that he chose the O Magnum Mysterium by Poulenc, which is one of my favorite pieces, and the Duruflé Requiem. I love the fact that he did expose and is continuing to expose these young people to the classics. It's fabulous to see. How long has he been teaching now? Do you know how many years at Santa Monica?
At the point this film was made, it took us 4 years to make it. He had been teaching for 7 years.
7 years, okay.
At the high school.
And how did you all come together? You want to give us some of your backstory with the film?
Why don't you tell me from your point of view, share with them from your point of view.
I met Varda when she was one of the co-chairs at the Women in Film in Los Angeles, and she gave me a chance to produce a PSA for her, and then I just stuck around. Why wouldn't I? There's talent here.
And did you know Mr. Halls as well? Had you heard of him, or
No,
are you involved in music out there at all?
Well, I have professional piano training since I was little, so I knew the quality of work he's putting, but I didn't know about him. It's just Varda asked me to join the team, and I said, yes, of course.
Life-changing it must be to have worked on this, huh? And together?
It was very interesting because when I came in, Varda was still developing what she wanted to achieve, and then it went quite quickly into production. We followed the choir for a year and a half, and then we edited. Bob can talk about that. And it was exciting at all times, and I've seen this movie many times.
Many times,
crying every time.
How long has it been out now? When was it finished?
Well, it's never finished, really. But we have had a few pre-screenings.
You've had some screenings.
In March last year at the Palm Springs, but we premiered in October at Heartland Film Festival, where we were U.S. Best Premiere.
Congratulations. The Heartland Film Festival, where does that take place?
Indianapolis.
In Indianapolis. Bravo, bravo. Tell us a little bit about your backstory.
So, my daughter actually had Mr. Hulls in middle school. She's 27, so he then left and went to grad school, and then came back and started teaching at the high school. So both my kids were in the choir, and I was the chair of the choir parents committee.
Oh,
and
okay.
then I'm also on the board of the Santa Monica Malibu Education Foundation. We're the partners, we are the partners with Big Voice, they're a beneficiary. And so they really opened the doors for Big Voice to be able to film on campus without having to pay any permit fees,
Right.
and to have that access to the high school and to the students, to the teachers. So I got introduced to, well, I knew Varda because I think our kids were in second grade or something together. But Santa Monica, it's a small community. It's a
yeah.
great public school system. And so we met and decided to partner up.
What do your kids think of Mr. Hulse? What are their memories of him?
Kind of like this, he's really tough. And my son he was a section leader, and he was a vice president and president of choir, and ultimately loved choir, both of them, yeah.
And you?
I think my wife had met with Varda, I guess for something at the school, I believe.
Yeah, we had, this is interesting, there was a vote, with all the economic issues and everything occurring, the states cut the budgets for the public schools. And so what happened is that there was a vote in Santa Monica to help raise the funds, but 3/4 of the population had to agree that they were going to pay the small parcel tax or whatever. But all the 3/4 of the population didn't agree, but almost they did. So there was this philosophy or attitude amongst a few of the citizenry that, gosh, well, almost everyone said they would. So the money is out there. So there was a group of us that did like an emergency campaign over the summer to raise $1.5 million. And I was one of the people who thought it was possible. So I helped. I made some PSAs and stuff. And we did raise $1.5 million in like 6 weeks or something like that. And that's when I met Lori, Bob's wife. She helped out with that. She helped secure a film that we used as a fundraising thing. And then she said, "You've got to meet my husband. He's this amazing editor."
Yeah, and I guess, I forget how, but I guess I sent you my film, and then later when you were looking for an editor, we met for coffee, and we had various coffees and discussions, and we have coffee places we go to. And then, year and a half later, give or take, we got done.
Well, what do you hope to accomplish with this film, this project?
Well, I would like at least 1 million people to view it. That's my goal. I don't think that's a big goal. I think that's very doable. And I really want to speak into possibility, number one. I want people to, especially young people, but all people, to understand that it's okay to work hard. We don't always have to be comfortable. Being comfortable is not necessarily fulfilling. I think when we work really hard, we really apply ourselves, and we create extraordinary things, no matter what we want to do, that's when society becomes enlivened, is enriching. So I want to inspire people to get uncomfortable, to work really hard, and especially young people, because I think doesn't bode well with me when I hear that's good enough.
Yeah.
That to me, that's like an...
It's like I can't imagine Mr. Hulse giving out participation awards.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that I would like to inspire people, and I want to speak into possibility, basically. I think sometimes we get discouraged at some nasty things that are going on globally, and I just want to inspire people to believe that anything's possible.
And how about inspire people to become teachers the way Mr. Hulse has become?
Absolutely. I mean, do you want to speak into that?
Well, the way I was brought into the project, Varda's was telling me the story that she was washing her dishes and she was thinking what she wants to do in her next project to make it something that she enjoys doing, and she was reading the scripts, and everything was dark and kind of reflecting the society. And then what she told me, she thought, what would be out there that would make me happy, would make others happy to observe? And instead of making a scary story, a la Spotlight or something like that, where you have a scary teacher and there's problems, there's this teacher right there who's doing amazing work, making kids be actual citizens, growing, becoming strong people, not just in music, but in general. And that was the pitch I heard and signed up for.
That's true. Also, I just want to say that you're right. I really want to honor and respect and acknowledge teachers, because I think, I am indebted to my teachers, especially my art teachers. I am who I am in part because of my teachers. And yet in our society, in our culture, teachers are treated, like servants, basically. They're underpaid, and parents go after them, and they're vilified at times. Sometimes they deserve it, but for the most part, I don't think they do. So I really wanted to create a work that acknowledged and recognized teachers.
I can't imagine having a teacher with this kind of energy. I mean, and how did he get permission to take them out on that 48-hour camping trip? How did he get permission?
Well, the woman who was talking to him, Catherine Baxter, she's the dean of students, and if you get her on your side, you can do anything.
Anything.
And she loves
great.
She loves him. She will do anything for him. So
and he just jumps in and does everything himself too,
everything,
right?
yeah.
Everything. He cooks.
He's a neat freak. He's a little OCD. He does, he vacuums.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay, so with his OCD and he's a control freak, what did he have to say about the making of this film? And did he have final say in it? Did you have to show it to him? Anything like that?
I'll answer that question, then I'd love Bob to say something. But funny story. He only revealed this very recently, actually during a Q&A when he attended. First of all, I don't remember this, but apparently there was an open house, and I'd come into the choir room at that point. My daughter, Raven, who you saw in there, she was in the choir, and I'd already had this in the back of my mind, but I hadn't really told anyone yet. And I went up to him and I said, we'd never met, and I said, "Oh, Mr. Halls, what would you think if, someone maybe I made a documentary about you?" I don't remember saying it, and he said he thought in his mind, "Oh yeah." He just completely threw it off, like he thought it was like some crazy mother coming up to him and saying something silly. Then further down the line, once we'd gone through some of the hoops that we had to get. By the way, Miss Baxter, when we told her, and we had to have this big meeting about filming at the school, Miss Baxter looked me right in the eye and she goes, "I remember this." She said, "I just want to tell you one thing. I hate filmmakers. I hate films." And I don't want to have any
experience.
Yeah, I hate you, basically.
Just so you know, right up front.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So then when I went to Mr. Halls about it, he said later, well, he thought I meant like for about 3 days. We were going to come in for 3 days, and he was just too polite, I guess, to say anything. And,
We were there for a year
and a half. So.
And did you have a story about it, working with Mr. Halls?
Well, I just wanted, we had 250 hours worth of footage.
Is that all? You sure?
Wow.
Maybe two. And, had to come. Now, the great news is these people know something about music. I have to be honest, I know nothing about music. Mm-hmm. But that was an advantage, because when we were editing, Bob would say, Bob knows he's a musician as well. He'd do something, about the music part, and I go, I have no idea what they're saying right now. So a lot of audience members aren't going to know. We're going to have to cut that.
Obviously, you have a great team here. Yes,
that worked really well.
Yes.
But I thought it would be neat for the audience to hear like how it was for you when you received all that footage, and how did you deal with that?
Well, it's just when you have that much footage, you can't. Back in the old days, you would just watch everything and then sort of get a plan overall. At a certain point, you just can't do that. Your eyes just start to bleed. So you just start cutting in order, and then we sort of take it through a process and it took months of just cutting and then watching more stuff and cutting and watching more stuff and putting it basically in chronological order, and then watching it and realizing, well, that doesn't work. And,
Right.
and then, you know.
It's the process.
Over and
yes,
over
yes.
and over
It's
again.
it's the process
So-
over and over again, and then we keep, you know, taking things out, trying different versions of different
And do I
stories.
understand did you all travel from California to be here just for this?
Yep.
There you go. Well, bravo to everybody. Congratulations.
Thank you.
you.
Thanks for being here, everybody.
Thank
Well,
you.
I would like to add a few things. We have secured educational distribution. We are trying to reach out to as many schools as possible, institutions, so we can have this movie seen. We obviously have a Facebook page. Please join us there, like us. We have a website. We have information out there. Just look Big Voice Movie, that's us. And just subscribe, like, share. We want this movie to be seen in many other places. It's a great movie that inspires not just people in the school. We've heard that a lot of leadership trainings are interested to see how Mr. Halls works and learn something from
Was
that.
that the first Congregational church in Long Beach where you were filming?
Yes, it was.
I used to go to that church. Wow. It was nice to see again. But, and remember, you wanted to finish up?
Yeah, I just also want to say, if you like the film and you know what IMDb is, if you could rate us on IMDb, it's very important to distributors apparently. That's something they really, really care about. I've been told that. And the other thing is we actually are still fundraising because we're negotiating a distribution offer, but it requires us to buy insurance, and we have all these expenses we still have to pay for. We're a grassroots film, as you see. We're just a community coming together to make a film. So I just want to put that out there. If you want to sponsor us or in any way support the film, we welcome that. Thank
All
you.
right, and take those ballots and rip according to 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, all right? And drop them off. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you so
What a
much for
pleasure
being
meeting you.
here.